we're going to start out just with an introduction of who you are, what you coach, and how long you've been a volunteer at Fort DuPont, and then just the thing that you have been doing at home that you just like can't stop, either if it's like a food you can't stop eating or a show you can't stop watching. So we'll start with Alexis.
All right, good evening. I am Alexis Walters, or Coach Alexis, and I teach Learn to Skate from beginners to level 3. And I've been with Fort DuPont for a little over 3 years. And right now I have been binge watching Netflix, and I've watched Tiger King twice now.
Nice. My friends have been talking a lot about it. I still haven't watched it yet, but it's been a hot topic of conversation.
You will be glued to the television for sure.
All right, let's go to Suliman next.
Hey, how you guys doing? My name is Suliman. I coach speed skating. And what was the other question? I'm sorry.
How long you've been volunteering with Fort DuPont, and the one thing that you just can't stop doing right now at home, either food you're eating or show you're watching or anything.
I lost count, but I've been there for a while. And one show I just finished watching was The Ozark. So that's a good show. I recommend.
Nice. I also have not seen that one. All right, let's go to Coach Chris.
Hey everyone, my name is Coach Chris. I've been with Fort DuPont for about 9 months now. I've been coaching a little bit of everything, but mainly the Learn to Skate and the Learn to Play Hockey. And what I've been doing at home is I've been playing a little bit more guitar. It's something I've wanted to kind of get better at, and now that I have more time, I've been jamming out a little more, so that's what I've been doing.
Oh, awesome. That's really cool. All right, let's go to Coach Billy next.
Good evening. I'm Coach Billy Bryant. I've been coaching at Fort DuPont since I was about 16 years old. That's a long time. I just turned 40. So one of the things I've been doing at home a lot is grilling. So getting outside, since the weather has been nice some days, and grilling whatever is in my freezer. So I try not to leave the house too much. I've enjoyed it, and I'm going to make sure I pick up some things at the grocery store next time I make a run.
All right, let's go to Coach Abbey.
I'm the coach for the Learn to Play Hockey. Sorry about that.
All right, no problem. Thank you. All right, Coach Abbey next.
All right. Hey, everyone. Coach Abbey. I've been at Fort DuPont now for about 5 years. I coach synchronized skating and advanced figure skating. And I guess one of the indulgences is I've been ordering a lot of delivery, supporting some of my local hotspots. And so not so much cooking.
Relatable, very relatable. All right, Ty Newberry next.
Howdy, I'm Ty. I am as most of you know, probably the executive director of the ice rink. I've been working there for about 15, 16 years, long enough to remember you, Karyn, coming through the program as one of our skaters, and Suliman down there in the corner, coming through as one of our speed skaters. Been there a number of years and excited to have everybody here, and thank the coaches for coming on. I guess the one thing that I've been doing is spend a lot of time watching one of my old favorite TV shows from the late 60s, early 70s. Columbo is something that I take great joy in watching. So
nice. All right, thank you so much, everyone, for being here and for joining us. And what I want to talk about next is just your routine right now. What is that looking like, and how has it changed, or how have you had to adjust some of the things that you do on a normal day to how you are adjusting now? So let's go to Alexis again first.
Well, for those of you who don't know, I work for TSA, in their corporate headquarters. And I would say my day-to-day has changed because I work in air cargo. So we've done a lot of updates to our security directives. So normally my phone's going off at 6 o'clock in the morning, and it usually stays on until about 6 o'clock at night. So just a lot of change ups right now with work. And I try to offset that by going outside. Now, of course, practicing the social distancing aspect, just to kind of keep myself motivated and, seeking some of that outdoor time with hiking or going out to see my horse. Because when you're in front of the laptop all day long, working on those sorts of things, you tend to get really stressed out. So it's changed a lot because I'm used to being around a lot of other people in the office. So, this technology has changed us significantly, but it's going pretty well. I can't complain a lot because I try to stay active.
Nice. One of my next later questions is going to be where you like to walk. So that'll be coming up later. So let's go to Coach Abbey next.
So my day job is working for DC Public Schools. And so our world is completely different right now. All of our teachers are engaged in distance learning. And the schools that I support, I'm doing all of that, teleworking from home. So that's a big change versus normally running around the city, meeting with schools and students and principals and all of that. So my routine is very different, but I like to switch it up. I have 2 dogs. And so whenever I get a chance to take a break, I'm out there, taking them on walks and of course, keeping my distance from folks, but trying to enjoy a little bit of fresh air whenever I get a chance.
Nice. All right, let's go to Coach Chris next.
Yeah, so I work at Ortho Virginia, which is an orthopedic practice in Northern Virginia. So we're the branch of medicine that deals with bones and joints and sports injuries and stuff of that sort. So we are a private practice, so we're not necessarily getting a lot of the, coronavirus patients and whatnot. But we have kind of changed up things in our office as well. We've switched to an urgent care type setting, keeping the social distancing in place. So that's been cutting back hours for some of the employees, but it's also making sure everyone's staying safe, for employees and patients alike. So I'm going there about a couple days a week. So it's been cut down for me. Usually I'm there 4 days a week. Now I'm down to 1 or 2, 6-hour shifts from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. is when we've been running the urgent care hours, which is good because it keeps a lot of patients from going to hospitals that don't necessarily need to. Like if you fell and broke something, you can go to an orthopedic place instead of a hospital and kind of stay away from people that might be sick. So that's kind of been what the reason behind our shift to the urgent care has been. And that's what I've been doing. And then outside of work, I've been staying active, trying to go for runs. I'm, working my way up, started pretty slow, but I've gotten a little bit better in the past month or so. So and then playing the guitar and keeping up with the times because they're always changing. So.
Nice. All right, let's go to Coach Suliman next.
I've just been studying, trying to finish my program for grad school, and then also been helping my mentor teacher find creative ways to connect with her students. So outside of that, it's been motivating, walking, and getting fresh air. So that's the norm.
Nice. All right, Coach Billy.
A lot has changed, but I'm still working. I work for the State Department, and the type of work that we do, it doesn't stop. So just working from home a lot. I go in maybe once a week. Myself and some of my other coworkers, we take turns. So one of us is in the office at least every day during the week. Trying to keep up my workout plan. It's been hard. I'm used to being coached. I know I'm a coach. It's kind of hard doing it on my own, but I'm getting pretty good at it. Take some long walks. I live not too far from Columbia Heights and Rock Creek Park. So I I try to walk down there a couple miles and use whatever weights or whatever I can find in the house. Other than that, my one guilty pleasure is, and I don't get to do it very often, I will play video games. I will play NHL hockey for a good half hour, get it out of my system, and get back to work. But that's about it.
Nice, nice. I know I don't really play video games very often, but I know it has been something that's been very popular right now. And especially I hear a lot about the Nintendo Switch and people using that to connect with each other and play games. All right, Ty.
Well, typically this time of year, we close the rink for annual maintenance. So it's tough for me because always at this time of year, there's a lack of energy. The families, the skaters, the participants, every day there's a lot of positive energy in the rink that we're lucky to be able to feed off of and be motivated and keep going. And now that the rink is closed, unfortunately for us, it closed right at the end of our programming season. So we were very fortunate there. So now it's just trying to spend a lot of time working with the staff to continue programming such as this, working to hopefully get our summer programs situated and ready to go so that when we get this thing past us, we'll be able to start the season again and have a lot of fun and hopefully increase our participants and also increase different avenues for programming that we're looking to continue to build on.
Nice. So pretty much everyone, I think, kind of mentioned trying to stay active. So I want to know a little bit more about what you're doing to stay active and if you have any tips for staying active or kind of keeping up with your practice of your specific sport while you're at home. You know, we do ice sports, so it's a little impossible to do those exact things, but there's a lot of things you can do off ice that translate. So I'd love to know if you're doing any of those things, or if you have any tips or resources that you'd like to share. So let's go around to Coach Abbey.
Yeah, so a lot of figure skaters on Twitter are sharing a lot of really cool stuff right now. So if you're at home and you're bored and you want to check it out, lots of like different stretches or choreography or different things that you can work on. I've been enjoying watching a lot of old synchronized skating videos. They're fun, they're inspiring. You get ideas for choreography. So I would definitely suggest checking out some figure skaters on Twitter and following them and seeing what they're up to, because there's a lot of cool stuff going on that you can get involved with.
Are you back, Karyn?
I'm back. Okay. All right. I don't know what happened, but
It was a good magic trick.
Okay. Coach Abbey, were you done or were you?
Yep.
Because I missed it. All right. Coach Chris.
Yeah, I guess on the hockey side of things, there's definitely drills that you can do with like a golf ball or something to kind of keep your hands, loose and so that when you get back on the ice, the transition isn't as difficult. I know with the golf ball too, you definitely have to be much more attentive to the movement of it, because unlike a puck, it's pretty light. So a very light tap of it can make it fly away. So that can be something that can definitely help out as far as when you're off the ice. But again, piggybacking off of what Coach Abbey was saying, I haven't been so much on Twitter, but YouTube is a great resource for anything from finding drills that I might not even know about, A, and also B, being able to look at watching other players or pro players kind of see how they play and be able to kind of study the game mentally, which I think is something that's definitely undervalued. There's definitely ways to get better off the ice and taking time to study certain players, or even watching full games, you can kind of just watch the flow of the game, and that kind of develops your sixth sense, so to speak, and kind of being able to anticipate plays and stuff like that. So definitely get on YouTube if you haven't yet. Look for drills, and then also maybe just watch a full game. They've got them on YouTube for free. So that's all I got.
Do you have any like go-to games that you watch if you're like, this is a great game that I like watching?
Not really as far. I mean, obviously there's great games that I've watched, over the course of my life that I kind of think back to, but I kind of like watching more recent stuff. It's cool to see how the game has changed and where it's at today. Recently I was actually watching a CHL top prospects game, which is basically all of the best 17, 18, 19-year-olds who are supposed to be the next, superstars, which is cool to kind of watch how they are now and then be able to 5 years or so from now say, wow, I was watching this person when they were, 16, 17 and seeing kind of where their skill level is at. Because I know the majority of our skaters are a little younger than that, but that's might be a good comparison to see how are the top players around my age playing, and that's something that I was checking out earlier today. So that'd be something to check out.
Yeah. Okay, Coach Billy.
Well, in terms of like watching TV or video, one of my favorite things to do is to watch either hockey bloopers or hockey highlights. Don Cherry's Rock'em Sock'em Hockey is one of my favorites of all time. And it's always fun seeing the cool goals or the nice saves, but it's also fun to check out how gear looked back then versus how it is now, and like how fast it's changed. I always pay attention to like the way gear looks or the shape of it or the technology used to make it. That's always fun to kind of look into. As far as like exercises, when I was growing up, walking lunges will get you in shape for anything. If you can get outside and do some walking lunges, another thing that's easy to do in one place. And I'm sorry, I don't have a stick with me, but if you hold a stick horizontally and tie a string to the middle and tie a weight to it and just roll that weight up and down over and over again, that will get your arms ready for shooting in the fall or whenever we can get back to the rink. And it's something that you can do in place in the house. You won't have to worry about messing up your parents' drywall or anything like that. But the highlights, I watched some today actually at lunch. I can't get enough of that.
Nice. Coach Suliman, what about you?
Some things recommended for speed skating. Usually we do at the practice is dryland practice. So we do like low walking, cushions, stairs, just everything that's targeting the lower legs and stuff like that. And then I recommend going on the US Speed Skating Facebook page. They have videos up there too as well. You can look at to help with training off ice and conditioning. And then also some of the skaters from the local area and some people in the Olympics, they post videos of their everyday life. So I recommend that to use.
Yeah, I've noticed, especially like looking at lots of different organizations like US Figure Skating and US Hockey have been putting out a lot of things like that and making a lot of things available on YouTube. And it's nice that we have these resources available and people are really trying to get these things out for people to be able to use. Ty, do you have anything that you want to talk about?
Sure. For my routine, I'm keeping up one of my routines. Early in the morning and in the middle of the afternoon, I get in my car and I drive around the complex here for a good hour or so to mimic the commute that I have each day. So then I come in, I sit down at the dining room table and I get to work. So as for exercises and, coaching hockey a lot of years, skating, learn to skate. It doesn't matter if you're learn to skate, speed skating, figure skating, hockey. Get back to the basics. The best thing is to start washing dishes, vacuuming the house, cleaning the car, washing the car. get back to some of these basic things that just helping your folks out, and that'll make you a lot better.
I'm sure all of the parents appreciate that suggestion. All right, Alexis, did you have anything else you wanted to add to that, to everything that's been said?
Yeah, so one of the things that I enjoy doing is hiking. My fiance and I have done a couple of pretty nice hikes lately. We just finished out Shenandoah, the White Oak Trail. It's about a 10-mile difficult level, roughly about 2,000 feet in elevation gain. One of the big things is I always encourage people, if you want to get into something like that, is to, do your homework and start small, and eventually you'll get up to those bigger hikes. There's a lot of other hikes that we plan to go to, a couple hours away, Shenandoah, places like that. But like everyone else has been saying, social media, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, those are all your friends, because nowadays you can, go into somebody else's kind of window in their life and see what it's like to do some of those things. So if you want to go ice skating, somebody will take a camera and go ice skating, or go hiking, or play the guitar. So definitely the biggest thing I would say is just do it. Don't hesitate. If it's something you want to try, now is the time, being locked in. So you see that video, you're like, hey, I want to do this, I want to try this. Because once those doors open back up, which they will, there's going to be a lot of new things that are going to happen. So I think that's the biggest thing, is don't waste time right now. Just definitely don't waste time.
Yeah, that's a really good point. All right, we have a couple questions that have come in on Facebook. So the first one, people want to know, with the Olympics being postponed, what are you most looking forward to when they come back in 2021? So let's go to Ty first this time.
One of the things I look forward to most with the Olympics is the stories of the athletes that NBC does such a great job of capturing, that aren't necessarily the stars, but doing sports, whether it's fencing or something along those lines, archery, not the marquee athletes in a field that is seen every day by us, but they do a great job of really capturing the backstories of those athletes, and so many motivating people who have found ways to motivate themselves to be able to get to that level is very inspiring to me.
Yeah, I always love the stories that come out of that as well. Do you have an athlete that most inspires you?
Can you come back to me on that? I got to think about that. It's been too many. I mean, there really is just too many. The tie-in with the Olympics, I guess, following the Olympics a lot of times is the Paralympics, which doesn't get enough play. And you want to talk about motivation. There's motivation there, people, the people who participate there. So that's real motivation there. And people refer to them a lot of times as disabled athletes, but I'm here to tell you right now, they're some of the most abled people you would ever meet.
Coach Billy, what are you most looking forward to when the Olympics come back?
Well, I mean, I'll just all of the athletics I look forward to seeing, but I also really enjoy like the opening ceremonies and seeing what that country is gonna, how they're gonna compete about, about the previous Olympics. And just seeing all the different countries together as a team, it just really gets me in a good mood, and I love seeing the competition. So the opening ceremony is very important to me, besides the athletics. So definitely looking forward to that. Well, I'm looking forward to it next year.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. We'll do one more person with this question, and then we'll move to the next question. So, Alexis, do you have a sport that you're most looking forward to?
Well, when it comes to the Olympics, I'm always a big fan of the equestrian games. As you guys know, I ride as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that all pans out because there's a lot of movement with the riders as well as the horses. So this could actually throw a lot of your teams off. It takes a matter of months to actually break a team down. So it's going to be pretty interesting, especially to see what how the US deals with this in their string of horses.
All right. So actually this kind of leads us to the next question we got on Facebook, which was, if you weren't an ice skater, what sport would you do? So does anybody have an answer off the bat for that? Just go ahead and say it.
Say off the bat, because I was going to say baseball.
Nice.
I would have played tennis.
Tennis.
Yeah.
I have zero hand-eye coordination, so I probably would like lean towards gymnastics or something. Maybe it's pretty, I think there's some similarities.
Yeah, there's the whole musicality aspect there as well. All right. So our next question, do you have a favorite sports movie that you like to watch? Doesn't necessarily have to be ice skating related, but personally, I would say my favorite one is Ice Princess. Does anybody have one they want to share?
There's too many.
Too many?
Too many. Yeah, there's just, yeah. I guess I like all the Mighty Ducks movies. Those are fun. Miracle's a great movie. For those who don't know, that's about 1980 United States Olympic team beating the Soviet Union, which was a really big deal, arguably one of the biggest. I didn't get to experience it, but maybe one of the biggest moments in sports history. But I think Disney did a really good job of recreating it. But yeah, there's all sorts of sports movies though.
I would say mine would probably be The Sandlot.
Oh, that's a good one. All right, another question anyone can answer is, what's one item that you stocked up on?
Well, I didn't stock up on anything because I want to make sure everybody gets their share at the grocery store. But if I were to stock up on one item, it would definitely be Jell-O. And I definitely didn't do that.
Jell-O, is that what you said?
Jell-O. Yeah, I love Jell-O. With some whipped cream, very good. It's also a very healthy snack. It's there's no carbs in it. You get a snack pack with some whipped cream. Great dessert. But that's just me.
Anybody else?
Suliman? What you got, Suliman?
Same as Coach Chris. I didn't stock up on anything, but I've been getting a chai latte mix. So my coffee and tea. So I've been on that.
I know Chris mentioned that he's playing guitar and Alexis has been hiking. Does anybody else have a favorite screenless activity that they have been doing at home? I've been trying to paint or do other kind of artistic things like that. Thanks to Brittany for the drawing lesson she gave on Wednesday. That's up on Facebook if anybody hasn't watched that yet either. Anybody else have one?
We started a puzzle today. I don't know if it's my favorite, but I'm gonna keep at it.
Certainly once you get a certain amount done, it's just you really want to finish it.
Yeah. That initial breaking out of the box and spreading the pieces out, after working all day, I was like, I don't know if I want to do this, but we'll see how it goes.
So what is everyone's first thing that they want to do when this is over? When we don't have to stay at home, we can go out again. What's at the top of your list? Ty?
Mine is see family. Get up, see my mom, check on how she's doing, and get over to see my in-laws. So to be able to connect with them in person would be great.
Abbey?
I definitely want to like just see my friends in person, have a game night, get together. It's different when you're online versus in person. And so I'm looking forward to that.
So are you bragging that you have friends? Is that trying to
A
make
small
some of
group
us feel bad?
friends, small
I even
group of
noticed
friends,
that.
Ty.
I even noticed you used plural there. I'm impressed. Good for you.
Alexis.
Probably the first thing that I'm going to do is pack up the car and go camping. If I'm not going to fly somewhere, it's definitely going to be camping.
Coach Chris.
I'd say there's nothing specific, but just having the flexibility to do anything, I think is nice. Because it's one thing when you're kind of decide to stay home, but there's also stuff that you could go do. But then that's another thing when you're at home and there's literally nothing else that you can go do. So I think just having the freedom would be nice.
Coach Billy.
I didn't get to celebrate my birthday. I had friends coming into town, had all types of plans, so I'm going to celebrate my birthday as soon as I can, with friends and family, as soon as I can.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Happy 21st.
Coach Suliman.
Probably take a trip somewhere to like the beach or something like that. A nice site to look at.
All right, so I think we're gonna wrap up with one final question here. And we just wanna know what your biggest takeaway from this time at home has been, or maybe a takeaway that you wanna share for the kids watching at home. So let's start with reverse order, Suliman.
I'd say my advice is to, I don't know, like take the time to like reflect on yourself. Look for new skills to add to your arsenal. Yeah, just try to just have fun, have positive thoughts. That's like my advice for everyone.
Thanks. All right, Coach Billy.
I guess mine would be, to just be more appreciative and remember how fragile some things that happen every day, how easily those things can be taken away. So just to be more appreciative and don't take things for granted.
Coach Chris.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's definitely a lot of time to reflect. And I think for me, I was able to do a couple of those things that I've kind of been meaning to do, but I've been too busy, so to speak, with the guitar and other stuff like that. So figuring out how I'm going to continue to incorporate those things is going to be a challenge, but I definitely think starting to think about how you're going to be able to keep doing those off-screen things once everything goes quote unquote back to normal is something that I would advise others to do.
Thanks. Coach Alexis.
I would say the most important thing is to stick with a plan. Like Suliman was saying, find a new skill, try it, learn it. But the most important thing is to stick to it, because once we get out of this, don't stop doing what you're doing, because it's very easy to fall into kind of like a lazy routine. So always be proactive and just don't sit around.
Thank you. Coach Abbey.
I think this experience has given me just like a new appreciation for all of those folks that keep our world running. Like everyone from our like mail carriers to bus drivers to, our healthcare workers. I think it's just given me like a new perspective on how essential those folks are and how brave they are to be out there and continuing their work. And so I think that's one of the big takeaways at this point that I have from this whole experience.
Yeah, thank you. And Ty.
Yeah, I echo what everybody says. I think that we are very lucky and fortunate, and I think we often overlook how spoiled we are to have the things that we have and the freedoms and the ability to do and go places that we go on a day-to-day basis. I think the big thing is we have to find a way to be happy with ourselves and make ourselves happy and entertain ourselves and our minds, and have, as was mentioned, I think by Alexis, the discipline to learn new stuff and do stuff. I think that a lot of times when we're in the moment, we're not aware of how big the moment is. And especially the young kids in our program, I don't think you understand really how big this moment is. And there's going to be a time, I know when I grew up, my generation, I remember in school having to go interview somebody who served in World War II or somebody who served during the Korean War and do an interview. And there's going to be a time in your life, even as young kids, where somebody's going to come up to you and say, hey, what did you do during the epidemic? What did you do during the coronavirus breakout? How did you survive in your house for 3-4 weeks together with your family? How did you entertain yourself? These are questions that you're probably going to get later in your life. You don't even realize that this, again, because we're living in the moment right now, but that's going to come down the road. So I guess that'd be where I'm at.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for being here and for sharing. You all brought up really great points and shared a lot of great resources. And I also want to thank everyone watching at home on Facebook, either live or after the fact. And I just want to remind everyone that we're here if you need us. If you have any questions or need any help with anything, please reach out to us. We're on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and we'd love to hear what you thought about all of this. And if you have any other suggestions for us, we're here if you need us. So thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Karyn. Thank you, Brittany. Thank you, coaches.
All right, thank you. Bye.
See you guys. Have a good night.
Thanks.